Hey everyone, welcome back. We're going to be diving deep today into Don't Believe Everything You Think by Joseph Nguyen.
Okay.
Um, I don't know if you've read this one,
I have.
but this book
It's amazing.
really blew my mind.
Yeah.
It dives into why we suffer the crazy power of our thoughts
Right.
and how we actually create our own reality.
Yeah.
So are you ready to kind of have your mind bent a little bit today?
I think so. I'm ready for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It really does challenge some common assumptions.
It does.
What I find so compelling about it is how Nguyen really encourages us to take responsibility
Yeah.
for our experience.
That's huge.
And to see how much our own thinking shapes our reality.
Yeah, yeah, and he really hits us hard with that right away, right from the start.
At the beginning.
He's like, look, you suffer,
Mm-hmm.
not because of what happens to you,
Uh,
but because of what you think about what happens to you.
yeah.
It's not the events themselves,
Right.
but our reactions that cause the real pain.
He uses this great analogy of the two arrows.
Yes.
The first arrow is the painful event itself.
Right.
Like, that's just unavoidable sometimes.
It's going to happen.
It's going to happen sometimes.
Life, throws us curveballs.
The second arrow is our reaction to it.
Yeah.
And that's where the suffering actually comes in.
Yes, and that second arrow is optional.
It is optional.
I love how he illustrates this with the example of the two people sitting in the same coffee shop.
Right.
One person is totally stressed out,
Stressed out.
anxious.
Yeah.
The other is just relaxed,
Mm-hmm.
enjoying their coffee.
Sipping away.
Yeah, same coffee shop.
Totally different internal world.
Completely different experience.
Yeah, and it's just based on their thinking.
Yes.
That's it.
And that's such a key point that you just brought up.
Yeah.
We can only ever feel what we're thinking.
That's all we ever feel.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's like when you get angry just thinking about your job,
Yes.
you're not even at work.
Exactly.
Or, that Zen story he tells about the young monk
Oh, yeah.
and the empty boat.
The Empty Boat, a classic.
Do you remember that one?
I do. It's a good one.
He's meditating,
Yeah, he's trying to meditate.
trying to find that stillness.
Be at peace.
Yes.
And every little noise, every little sound is like
Oh my God.
frustrating him.
Yeah.
It's like rowing a boat across a lake.
Right. And every time he bumps,
Into something.
yeah, he gets so frustrated.
He thinks it's the noise that's the problem, but the
The
problem
noise is not the problem.
is his reaction to the noise.
Yeah. And that empty boat
Yeah.
becomes a symbol for all the things we blame
Mhm.
for our suffering, when really it's our own minds
Our own mind.
creating the turmoil.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which leads us to
And so then he gets into,
this fascinating distinction
yeah,
that Nguyen makes between thoughts and thinking.
this is key.
Have you ever thought
I
about
love this distinction.
the difference between those two?
Yes, it's huge.
Yeah.
He describes thoughts as like the raw material of the universe.
Okay.
Effortless, creative, expansive, coming from something bigger than us.
Right.
But thinking is the act of engaging with those thoughts.
Okay.
That's when it takes effort and can lead us down the rabbit hole.
Yes. Give me an example,
Yeah.
because I think we need to
Right.
really illustrate this.
In the book,
Yeah.
he asks us to think about how much money we want to make.
Okay.
Initially, the thought itself is pretty exciting.
Yeah, like $1 million.
Woohoo!
I love $1 million.
Sign me up.
Right.
But then we start thinking about it.
How am I going to get there?
How am I going to get there?
What if I fail?
What if I'm not good enough?
Right.
What if I don't deserve it?
That's when things get messy.
And that's when the suffering comes
Yeah.
in. So the thought itself is pure potential.
Okay.
Our thinking is what limits us.
Got it.
And he has this really helpful chart to kind of break this down even further.
Oh, yeah. I love that chart.
It compares thoughts and thinking side by side
Yeah.
just to show the difference.
It's really stark.
Like thoughts are light, expansive, positive.
Okay.
Thinking is heavy, restrictive, negative.
I see.
It's a big contrast.
So if negative thinking causes suffering,
Right.
then shouldn't we just try to think positive all the time?
You would think so, right?
Isn't that the solution
That's what we always hear.
that everyone talks about?
Think positive, be happy.
Yeah, positive vibes only.
Exactly.
But Nguyen's like, hold on a second.
He challenges that.
He's like, not so fast.
He asks us to remember a time when we felt truly joyful.
Okay.
And when we really think about those times,
Yeah.
we realize we weren't actually thinking that much at all.
That's so true.
Yeah.
It's like his thought-o-meter idea
Right.
More thinking equals more negativity.
Less thinking equals more of that natural joy and peace.
So true, he even compares it to babies.
Oh, yeah.
Babies are just naturally blissful
They are.
until they start getting conditioned by the world around them.
By all of that thinking, all of the shoulds, all of the expectations.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So he's really pointing to the idea that our natural state at our core is joyful and peaceful.
Yeah, it's like we're already there.
We are.
We just don't realize it.
So if thinking is what's messing things up,
Right.
how do we stop it?
How do we stop thinking?
How do we just not think?
It's a good question.
Yeah.
And he says it's not really about completely stopping our thoughts.
Okay.
It's more about reducing the amount of thinking we do
Got it.
and becoming more aware of it when it's happening.
So noticing it.
Noticing.
Without getting attached.
Without getting caught up.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that he uses the analogy of dirty water.
Oh, the dirty water. That's a good one.
Yeah, if you let a bowl of dirty water sit,
It'll settle.
the dirt settles to the bottom naturally.
You don't have to keep stirring it up.
Yeah, you don't have to do anything.
Our thinking is the same way.
Yeah.
He also compares it to quicksand.
Oh, I like that one too.
The more you struggle, the more you get stuck.
Right.
So it's about learning to observe our thoughts without getting caught up in them.
Okay, but wait a minute.
Yeah.
If I stop thinking so much,
Mm-hmm.
won't I just become like unmotivated,
That's a common concern.
aimless? What about goals?
Yeah.
What about achieving things?
Goals are still totally possible.
Okay.
We just need to maybe shift our perspective a little bit about where they're coming from.
Okay.
So he introduces these two types of goals:
I love this.
desperation goals and inspiration goals.
Yes, tell me more about this.
So desperation goals are the I need this goals.
Okay.
Driven by fear and lack,
Yeah.
they often feel really heavy and stressful.
Even if you achieve them.
Even if you achieve them, you're still not happy.
I've so been there.
Inspiration goals, on the other hand, come from a place of excitement and joy.
Okay.
They're more aligned with our true selves.
I love that. And he's this great exercise
Yes.
to help you identify those inspiration goals.
A really good one.
He's like, ask yourself this question. What would I do
Mm-hmm.
if I had infinite money?
Infinite money, already traveled the world, had no fear.
Already traveled the world, no fear.
And you didn't need any recognition for what you did.
No recognition.
What would you do?
What would I do?
What would you create?
Oh.
Because that really cuts through
All the shoulds.
all the shoulds,
Right.
all the expectations, and helps you really connect with what truly inspires you.
Okay, I love that. And now for something.
Okay.
That might sound a little out there.
All right.
Unconditional love and unconditional creation.
I love this part.
He tells this really interesting story
Yeah.
about asking his girlfriend why she loves him,
Right.
and she couldn't give him any specific reasons.
She's just like, I don't know.
I don't know, I just do.
I just love you.
Which pointed to the depth of her love.
Yeah.
It wasn't based on any conditions or expectations.
It just was.
It just was.
Yeah. And that's how we should approach creation.
Oh, interesting.
Creating without those conditions or expectations.
So when we create without needing a specific outcome.
That's when we actually experience those positive feelings.
Yeah.
It's not about achieving something to feel good. It's about feeling good while you're creating.
So let's say you start practicing non-thinking.
Yeah.
You start to experience peace.
You're feeling good.
What happens next? How do you deal with that?
Well, he acknowledges that this newfound peace can feel really unfamiliar.
Yeah.
Even a little unsettling.
I can see that.
And that's because our ego, which thrives on thinking,
Right.
feels threatened.
It does.
It wants to pull us back
Back to the old ways.
to the old patterns.
To the known.
Yeah, to what it knows.
So we might experience anxiety, doubt.
Totally no.
Like, is something wrong with me? Why do I feel
Yeah.
so calm?
Yeah, exactly.
He's like, those feelings are totally normal.
They are.
It's just part of the process.
part of the process.
Of shifting into a new way of being.
A new way of living.
And he offers some really helpful tips
He does.
for navigating this transition.
Yeah, like reframing anxiety as a sign of growth
Oh, I like that.
and channeling all that energy that we used to spend overthinking
Oh, yeah.
into something positive, like
Yeah.
those inspiring goals
Love
that
it.
we talked about.
Yeah. And he also emphasizes the importance
Yes.
of creating a morning routine.
A morning routine.
He calls it an activation ritual
Yeah.
to support this new way of being.
To set yourself up for success.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like setting the tone for the whole day.
It really is.
So it's like setting yourself up for success.
Exactly.
Starting the day from a place of peace.
Yeah.
Rather than letting your mind
Run wild.
just run wild.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So he introduces this idea
Yeah.
that there are no inherently wrong decisions.
This is a good word.
Just like there are no wrong keys on a piano.
I love that analogy.
But how do you know which keys to play?
That's the question, right?
How do you know what to do without overthinking it?
That's where trusting your intuition comes in.
Ah,
He describes intuition as our inner GPS.
okay.
It always knows the way,
It does.
even if the route is a little unexpected or unconventional.
But following your intuition can be scary.
It can be.
It leads you into the unknown.
He acknowledges that,
Yeah.
but he also reminds us that the unknown is where the magic happens.
Okay.
The potential for growth and transformation lies.
I'm starting to get this.
Yeah.
It's not about becoming passive
Right.
or giving up on goals.
Not at all.
It's about becoming more aligned
Exactly.
with your true self.
Yeah.
More receptive to the guidance that's always there.
That's always available.
And as we start living from this place of non-thinking,
Right.
we often find that certain destructive habits and patterns,
You start to become more apparent.
yeah, it's like the fog has lifted.
Like the mental fog is gone.
And we can see those things
You can see it
that
clearly.
are no longer serving us.
Yeah?
So what do we do about those habits?
How do we change?
How do we change them?
Well, he offers this really insightful guide for overcoming destructive habits.
Okay.
The first step is becoming aware of the behavior you want to change
Okay.
and understanding the thinking and beliefs that are driving it.
It's like shining a light
Shining a light.
on those unconscious patterns.
Yeah.
And bringing them into your awareness.
Your awareness.
And once you've done that,
Then you can start to shift your thinking
okay,
and choose different behaviors.
got it.
But the key is to approach it from a place of compassion and curiosity,
Not judgment.
not judgment and self-criticism.
So it's not about beating yourself up
No.
for having these habits.
We all have them.
It's about understanding
Where they come from.
and finding healthier ways to cope.
Exactly.
He even suggests consulting your inner wisdom,
Yeah.
asking yourself questions like,
Like, what is this habit trying to teach me?
what is this habit trying to teach me?
What do I need to learn?
What do I need to learn?
How can I restore balance?
Because sometimes those habits were serving a purpose
They were.
at some point in our
At
lives.
some point.
Right.
Okay.
But as we evolve,
Evolve and grow.
we need to let go of what's no longer serving us.
What no longer serves us.
And as we do that,
Yeah.
we create space
To create space.
for new, more empowering habits to emerge.
Habits that are aligned with our true nature and our deepest desires.
So it's not just about stopping bad habits.
Right.
It's about replacing them
Replacing them
with something better,
something better
something that nourishes your soul.
that nourishes your soul.
It's about becoming the best version of yourself.
It is.
And it all starts with understanding the power of your own mind,
The power of the mind.
which is what this book is all about.
That's what it's all about.
It's a journey of self-discovery,
It is.
a journey of awakening to
Awakening.
your true potential.
Your true potential, yeah.
And it's a journey that's available to all of us.
It is.
So we're going to take a quick break.
Okay.
And when we come back,
Yeah.
we're going to dive even deeper
All right, yeah.
into don't believe everything you think.
Sounds good.
Okay, so we're talking about miracles.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
Yeah.
But what does it actually mean to create space
Yeah.
for these miracles to happen?
He tells this great story
Yeah.
about a Zen master and a scholar.
Okay.
The scholar goes to the Zen master seeking wisdom,
Okay.
but his mind is so full of his own knowledge and opinions
Yeah.
that he can't receive anything new.
He's like that overflowing teacup.
Exactly.
Oh,
The
yeah.
Zen master keeps pouring tea into the stellar's cup
Oh, remember this.
until it overflows, and
Yeah.
he's like,
You got to empty your cup.
you need to empty your cup
Yeah.
to make room for new insights.
It's such a classic metaphor,
It is.
but it's so true.
Yeah.
If our minds are constantly churning,
Right.
overanalyzing everything,
Yeah.
there's no room for fresh perspectives or inspiration.
No room for anything new.
And he gives some really cool examples
He does.
of how famous thinkers have done this throughout history.
Like Thomas Edison.
Yes.
He would take naps with steel balls in his hand,
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
just waiting for that moment between sleep and wakefulness,
Where the inspiration would strike.
that in-between state
Yeah.
where the magic happens.
And Einstein played the violin.
Einstein loved his violin.
Yeah, to quiet his
To
mind.
get out of his head
Yeah.
and allow those creative breakthroughs to come through.
So it's like we need to get out of our own way.
Get out of your own way.
Stop trying to force things
Yeah.
through thinking.
Through the thinking mind.
Right.
And allow those aha moments to come through.
And he even outlines a 3-step process
He does.
for receiving these divine downloads.
Okay, number 1, become aware of your thinking
Okay.
as the source of your negative emotions.
So notice when you're thinking.
You notice
And
it.
it's making you feel bad.
Yeah.
Number 2.
Yeah. Surrender the thinking.
Okay.
Have faith
Yes.
that your inner wisdom
It's there.
will provide the answer.
And number 3.
Magnify feelings of love, peace, and joy
Yes.
as you wait for the answer to come.
So it's like shifting from a place of control
Control.
to a place of trust,
Trust, surrender.
trusting that there's a deeper intelligence guiding you.
Always guiding you.
Okay, so then what happens
Yeah.
after you start living from that place of non-thinking?
What happens next?
How do you deal with all the changes that come up?
Yeah, he talks about some potential obstacles.
What are some of the things that might trip us up?
Well, one common obstacle is that this newfound peace
Yeah.
can feel so unfamiliar.
It's like, who am I?
Yeah,
I don't even recognize myself.
that we actually start to get anxious about it.
Oh, that's so interesting.
Yeah.
So we feel less productive, less driven,
Like we've lost our edge.
like we're not hustling enough.
Yeah, because we're so used to that hustle mentality,
Yeah.
that constant striving to achieve.
Always got to be doing something.
Yeah.
Right.
And so our ego feels threatened
Yeah.
because it thrives on that sense of control and busyness.
The basic.
So it tries to convince us that we need to go back to those old patterns.
Back to what's familiar.
Yeah.
Even if it's not serving us.
Even if it's not serving us anymore.
So he's saying those feelings are totally normal.
Totally normal.
It's just our ego
It's just the ego.
trying to cling to what it knows.
What feels safe. Okay. So we need to learn to trust the peace.
Trust the peace.
Embrace it, even if it feels a little uncomfortable at first.
Even if it feels weird.
Right.
Yeah.
And another challenge is that
Okay, what else?
when we stop thinking so much,
Yeah.
we have all this extra energy
Oh, yeah.
that was previously tied up in overthinking.
Right, all that mental energy.
Yeah, what do we do with all that?
You got to channel it into something positive.
Okay,
Otherwise, it can easily get redirected back into old, unhealthy habits.
that makes sense.
So we got to have something to direct that energy towards, like those inspiration goals.
Inspiration goals, creative projects.
Things that light us up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a strong morning routine can be really helpful here.
Oh, yeah, that activation ritual.
The activation ritual.
To set yourself up for success.
Set yourself up for success right from the start.
Start the day from a place of peace
Yeah.
and intention.
So you're less likely to get swept away by a whirlwind of thinking.
Okay, so we've talked about how there are no wrong decisions.
Yay.
Just like there are no wrong keys on a piano.
There are no wrong keys, just different sounds.
But how do we know which keys to play?
Yeah.
How do we make decisions?
Without overthinking it.
Without overthinking it.
That's where trusting your intuition comes in.
Oh, our inner GPS.
Your inner GPS, it always knows the way.
But what if following your intuition
Mm.
means stepping into the unknown?
It often does.
What if it leads you somewhere you're not comfortable with?
Yeah, it can be scary.
Scary.
But he reminds us that the unknown is where the magic happens, where the potential for growth and transformation lies.
So it's about embracing that uncertainty.
Embracing the uncertainty.
Having faith that you're being guided,
Trusting the process.
even when you can't see the whole path laid out in front of you.
You don't have to see the whole path.
Okay, I'm starting to get this. It's not about becoming passive
No,
or giving up on goals.
not at all.
It's about becoming more aligned with your true self,
More aligned.
more receptive to the guidance that's always there.
That's always available.
And as we start living from this place of non-thinking,
Yes.
we often find that certain destructive habits and patterns,
They become more apparent.
it's like we can see them more clearly
Yeah.
now that the mental fog is lifted.
The fog is gone.
So how do we actually change those habits?
Yes, that's the question.
How do we break free?
Well, he says the first step is becoming aware
Awareness.
of the behavior you want to change
Okay.
and understanding the thinking and the beliefs that are driving it.
So it's like shining a light on those unconscious
It's
patterns.
shining a light.
Right.
Yeah.
And bringing them into your awareness.
Into your awareness.
Okay. And once you've done that,
Yeah.
you can start to shift your thinking
Shift your thinking.
and choose different behaviors.
Choose different behaviors.
But the key is to approach it.
From a place of compassion and curiosity.
Compassion.
Yeah.
Curiosity.
Not judgment and self-criticism.
That's not about beating yourself up
No.
for having these habits.
We all have them.
Right.
Yeah.
It's about understanding where they came from
Yeah.
and finding healthier ways to cope.
Healthier ways to cope.
And he suggests consulting your inner wisdom.
Oh, yeah, your inner wisdom.
Asking yourself questions like,
Like, what is this habit trying to teach me?
what is this habit trying to teach me?
What do I need to learn?
What do I need to learn?
How can I restore balance?
Because sometimes those habits were serving a purpose
They were.
at some point in our lives.
At some point,
But as we evolve and grow,
we evolve.
we need to let go of what's no longer serving us.
Let it go.
And as we do that,
We create space for new, more empowering habits to emerge.
so it's not just about stopping bad habits.
Right.
It's about replacing them
Replacing them
with something better.
Yeah.
Something that nourishes our soul.
something that nourishes your soul. Yeah.
It's about becoming the best version of ourselves.
That's what it's all about.
And it all starts with understanding the power of our own minds,
The power of the mind.
which is what this book is all about.
This book is amazing.
It's a journey of self-discovery,
It is.
a journey of awakening to our true potential.
To your true potential.
And it's a journey that's available to all of us.
It is.
And what I really appreciate about this book is that it's not just theory.
Right.
He gives us actual tools
He does.
to integrate this into our lives,
Practical steps.
like his guidance on creating a non-thinking environment.
Oh, yeah. This is so important.
What does that even mean?
Yeah. It's about becoming aware of those subtle influences around us. Okay.
That can either trigger our overthinking or support a more peaceful state of mind.
So you're saying it's like
You get it.
taking inventory of your surroundings.
Yeah, like doing an audit.
Your routine.
Your routines, your relationships.
Even your relationships.
Yeah, what are the things that tend to stress you out,
What stresses me out?
make you anxious?
Social media.
Social media for sure.
The news.
The news
No.
and negativity.
Yeah. It's about being mindful of what we're allowing into our mental space.
Okay, so
Yeah.
once we've identified the things that are kind of bringing us down,
Mm-hmm.
then we can start to replace those with things that support non-thinking.
Exactly. Things that bring us joy. Things that nourish us.
Okay, so that might be
Yeah.
spending time in nature,
Nature's always good.
listening to calming music,
Music.
surrounding ourselves with positive people.
Positive people.
Yeah, and he talks about the importance of having that morning routine,
The activation ritual.
that activation ritual to set the tone for the whole day.
Set the tone for the day right from the start.
Because if you can start your day from a place of peace and intention,
Yeah. It makes a huge difference.
it makes a huge difference.
And how you experience the rest of the day.
So how do we apply this to work?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Because a lot of people are probably listening to this and thinking, yeah, my job is so stressful.
It's go, go, go all the time.
How am I supposed to not think at work?
Right. He talks about making two lists.
Yes, tell me about this.
One list of all the tasks that you do at work
Okay.
that drain your energy.
Okay.
And then another list of all the things you do at work that actually energize you.
I see. So it's like an inventory.
Taking inventory of your workday.
Seeing where your energy's going.
Yeah.
And then
But then you can start to make small shifts
Oh, okay.
to focus more on the things that light you up.
So it's not about becoming some kind of Zen master
No.
at work.
Right.
It's about finding that sweet spot where you're both productive
Yeah.
and fulfilled.
Productive and fulfilled. That's the goal.
And you know what's interesting
Mm-hmm.
is that as we start living from this place of non-thinking,
Mm-hmm.
our intuition often gets stronger.
It does.
We're more in tune with our gut feelings,
Yeah.
which can be so valuable in decision-making,
Especially at work.
especially at work.
Yeah.
It's like tapping into a deeper wisdom
But deeper wisdom.
that goes beyond our rational minds.
Yeah.
And this is a big one.
Okay.
Clarity is our natural state.
This is huge.
We don't have to achieve it. We already are it.
We are it.
It's like the sun is always shining,
I love that analogy.
even when it's hidden behind the clouds.
The clouds are the thinking.
The mental chatter.
The mental chatter.
But if we can clear those clouds,
yeah.
the clarity is already there, waiting to be revealed.
It's already there.
And think about those moments
Oh, yeah.
when you're completely absorbed in something you love,
Yeah.
whether it's playing music,
Music.
painting,
Or
spending time with loved ones. In those moments, the thinking mind quiets down,
it does.
and we naturally experience that sense of clarity, peace, connection.
Those are the moments when we're most in touch with our true selves.
And the more we can practice non-thinking,
Mm-hmm.
the more we're able to access those moments
Exactly.
and live from that place of inner peace.
And as we do that, we naturally start to attract more abundance, more joy,
More of everything we desire.
because we're aligned with that universal flow of creativity and abundance.
Wow, this book is truly inspiring.
It is.
It's such a beautiful vision for how we can live more fulfilling and joyful lives.
It's a beautiful vision.
You know what really strikes me
What's that?
is if our natural state is joy, love, and peace, as Nguyen suggests.
Yeah,
What does that mean for how we interact with the world?
that's a great question.
What would a society look like if we
Yeah.
all tapped into this place more often?
Something to think about.
It's a question worth pondering.
It is.
So to all of you deep divers out there,
Yeah.
we encourage you to continue exploring these ideas,
Keep exploring.
whether by picking up Don't Believe Everything You Think,
That book?
or simply by taking a few moments each day
Just a few moments.
to quiet your mind,
Yeah.
connect with that inner peace that's always available.
Always there.
Until next time, may your journey be filled with joy,
Joy.
clarity,
Clarity.
and a deep sense of wonder.
Beautiful.